Hello and welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I'm your host, Gabe Peterson, and this is the place investors go to gain actionable advice, learn about current market trends, and hear war stories from other professional investors out there in the field today. Before we get started, I have two quick housekeeping items for you. First, if you like this episode, we would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and share. It is the best way to support the show and keep it running far into the future. Second, if you're a new investor looking to get started in real estate or an experienced investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you that will cover how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance those deals with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. On top of that, I throw in an insane amount of free bonuses that you'll have access to once you buy the ebook. All I charge is our admin costs to keep this show running. So if you're serious about real estate investing and want to create both active and passive income as an investor, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com and click on the button that says get the ebook in the upper right-hand corner to grab yourself a copy. With that said, let's dive right in. Today we have a very special guest with us, ready to drop some investor knowledge on you. So buckle up, grab your pen and paper, and enjoy the ride. All right, we are back with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. Today we have Jay Connor with us. Jay is a longtime real estate investor and an authority on private money. In fact, he is the private money authority. I am super excited to have Jay here because a lot of investors, they get through their process and they get to the stage where they need to raise capital, and that's where they get stuck. And so this is an opportunity to learn. Jay, thank you very much for hopping on the show and sharing your knowledge with us.
Absolutely, Gabe. I'm so excited to be here to talk about my favorite subject, which is private money. So thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. And I told you before we got on here, we like to hear people's stories because they're always interesting, especially in the field of real estate. So I'm sure you got a good one. You've been in the field for a long, long time. So why don't you take us to the beginning? How'd you get started in real estate?
Well, so how did I get started in real estate? Well, I've actually been around the industry of helping people own a home all my life. My father, Wallace Connor, was in the mobile home business. He was a manufacturer, retailer, financer, insurer, totally vertically integrated. He had the largest manufactured housing or mobile home company in the nation.
Oh, wow.
up until the 80s. And so I've always been around helping people own a home. And of course, in mobile homes, that was affordable housing that we were helping people with. And so that business went away in 2002. And I just knew I always wanted to get into single family houses. I wanted to be a flipper. And that was even before HGTV came along. I wanted to flip houses. So my wife, Carol Joy, and I were located here in Eastern North Carolina, really, really small market, only 40,000 people is our total target market. We only do 2 to 3 deals a month, but our average profits are $71,000 per deal that we do. So that math seems to work out. So yeah, we started full time in real estate investing, primarily in single family houses. I've done commercial as well. We've developed a shopping center from the ground up. That's free and clear. That prints a nice check every month to be able to have that kind of investment. But our main focus is single family houses. We rehab most of them. Now, I do buy some houses on terms, seller financing subject to the existing note, but primarily we use private money to fund the deals that we're buying these days and have been since 2009. From 2003 to 2009, I relied on local banks, institutions, mortgage companies, traditional funding until January 2009. And then
the day of infamy.
something happened in January 2009.
Yep. Well, so I love it. So you kind of started in the industry because your dad, he owned the manufacturing, mobile homes, and that's a great start to be surrounded by that kind of knowledge. You chose single family, which is, it's a lot of people, they see HGTV, they want to jump in. I did the same thing. I wanted to jump in and I did. And I learned it is a hard thing to do if you're not, you're not a contractor or anything. Why did you decide to stick with single family once you did your first one or two? Was it because of the big paychecks, or did you just really like that?
Absolutely. In fact, how I got interested in it is Carol Joy and I've got really, really good friends in New Bern, North Carolina, about 30 minutes up the road. And back in 1993, they wanted to build a house, but they didn't have any seed money. And so the wife's father lived down in Florida. He'd been a full-time real estate investor for decades. And he said, look, and their names are Craig and Kim. He said, look, Craig and Kim, I'll come up to New Bern, North Carolina. We'll find a fixer-upper and you can do the sweat equity at nights and on the weekends. We'll put it on the market. We'll sell it. You can keep the profit and use that to start building your house that you want to build. Well, my lands, Gabe, my friends in less than 90 days pocketed over $30,000 back in 1993. And I'm,
a lot of money back
beating,
then.
I'm beating the band trying to make $3,000 on a single wide mobile home. I'm going, wait a minute. If I ever get out of mobile homes, I know what I want to do. So yeah, I like the big paycheck days.
I love it. So you talked there briefly, you mentioned private money. And I know this is your specialty here. And you kind of made a distinction. You were talking about private money, conventional money, and then hard money. I don't think you mentioned hard, but I did want to bring it up. Those are three, when an investor starts into the world of real estate, finding money is one of the first hurdles they run into, because you can't do real estate without capital. I will repeat that 100,000 times. People think you can do real estate without money. There's so many gurus who say that. You just can't. It's not possible. You do need money to do real estate. And so that's one of the hurdles that most people run into when they get into real estate, is finding the capital to finish the deals. Banks, oftentimes, they're difficult to deal with, especially nowadays, if you don't have a really solid W-2 or anything like that. So private money is, it's a great option. So what do you see what are the benefits of private versus hard versus conventional? How do you distinguish between the three?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why I love private money instead of banks and institutions. I told you something happened in January 2009. And what it was is I called up my banker, whose name was Steve, in January 2009. I had a couple of deals under contract, and these two deals represented over $100,000 in profit. And I learned in that conversation that I had lost my lines of credit with no notice.
Yeah.
And I had an 800 credit score. I'd had a beautiful 6-year relationship. And, Gabe, the most dangerous number in any business is the number 1, right? I had one lender. I only just had one place to get my funding. And so my definition of coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. In less than 2 weeks, I was introduced to this world of private money, and it blew up my business. Back in 2009, you had all these foreclosures coming along, and nobody would finance them. If you were going to buy them, you had to have the cash. Well, when I started using private money, our business tripled in the first 12 months when the market was being flooded with foreclosures, and I had the private money available. So first of all, let's define what in the world are we talking about. Private money is doing business with individuals, human beings. We call it relationship money, mom and pop money. And in this world, they are loaning money to us real estate investors. I've got 44 of them right now funding our deals. They are funding our deals mostly from either using their investment capital or their retirement funds. Now, there's a writer downer right there. Self-directed IRAs. I didn't know anything about self-directed IRAs when I was first starting out, but it's important to learn about self-directed IRAs and companies like that are third-party custodians, so that when I'm visiting with a new potential private lender and I learn they've got retirement funds, I can introduce them to who I have a relationship with. They can move those retirement funds over to this third-party custodian, and they can earn unlimited money and returns per year, penalty-free, and at least tax-deferred or tax-free. depending on the type of retirement account they have. So why do I like private money versus hard money or others? Well, first of all, a hard money lender is usually a broker of money. A hard money lender has gone out and raised capital just like I do and just like I teach my students, and they are a middle person. They make their money on origination fees. They borrow at a lower interest rate. They lend it out at a higher interest rate. They'll only advance you 60 to 80% of your purchase price. So why do I love private money? Well, put your seatbelt on, because here comes a long list of reasons. Number one, in the world of private money, you make the rules. You're the boss. You set the interest rate. You set the maximum allowable advance that you're going to take. You set the term. You set the frequency of payments. And so it's a total 180-degree shift. You know, when I was borrowing money from the banks and institutional money, they made the rules. They told me when I made payments, they set the interest rate. So you see, Gabe, I have never asked anybody for money. I've never asked any private lender to loan me money. And people ask me all the time, they say, Jay, how in the world do you have over $8 million at your disposal at any time for funding deals, and you never ask anybody for money? Here's the answer. I put on my teacher hat, right? I teach people what private money is, what self-directed IRAs are, and now they're chasing me. In this world, I don't sell anybody. I don't chase anybody. And you know what, Gabe? I've never pitched a deal in my life. I've never pitched a deal in my life. They say, Jay, how do you get your deals funded if you don't pitch your deal? Well, here's the answer. First of all, I teach individuals what private money is and how it works. And, you know, do they want to earn 0.17% in the local certificate of deposit at the bank, less than 0.25%? Or do they want to come along and let me pay them 8%, you know, which is a lot of money? So I teach them. I know how much money I teach them the program. What's the interest rate? How can they get their money back within 90 days if they have an emergency come up, et cetera. I teach them the program, how they're protected. I don't borrow any unsecured funds. They get a deed of trust or a mortgage, depending on the state the property's in. So they're well secured by that real estate. And, you know, one big reason I love private money is I always, Gabe, bring home a big check when I buy, and I bring none of my own money to the closing table. Just 2 days ago, I brought home a $29,000 check.
That says $99,000 right there, actually. So Jay is holding up the check to the camera if you guys are listening, and it actually says 99.
That's not 29, that's 99. I brought home a $99,000 check. This is 2 closings this week, and took none of my own money to the closing. And the way that works is I always borrow more than I need. I get all my rehab money up front. This is part of making the rules, you know.
And I feel like that's something that I've made a mistake in the past. And that is something that, you know, if you're new to raising capital, you definitely want to take that into consideration. Lend or get a loan for more than you need, because you're always things happen, you're going to need it. So I just wanted to point that out there, because that is a very good piece of advice.
Absolutely. So why else? Well, I love private money because I can close my deals in 7 days. I can close quickly. And since I can close quickly, I get more of my offers accepted than my competition. So I can close quickly. My credit score has got absolutely nothing to do with how much private money I can get and how much private money you can get as a real estate investor. We just talked about advancing. You know, hard money lenders on average are only going to advance you 60 to 80% of the purchase price. Well, in this world of private money, I get 100% of my purchase price, and If there's a rehab involved, I get all my rehab money up front, and then I get additional money on top of that to take care of carrying costs and, that type of thing. Gabe, in my experience, private money is the quickest way to get your first deal or your next deal. And here's why. There's a lot of gurus out there, like you just said, that you don't need money to do business in real estate. You can buy on terms. You can do this thing called the pretty house business. You can buy subject to the existing note. Well, my statistics, after reviewing thousands and thousands of property lead sheets, only 13%, and I'm good. I'm a good closer. Only 13% of my for sale by owners will sell to me creatively, subject to the existing note. Seller finance.
I always push seller financing because it is a great way for both the buyer and the seller to close a property. But with that said, very few sellers are actually going to do it. So those gurus out there who say you can buy properties with no money down, you can, it is possible, but it just doesn't happen very often. I think 13% is generous.
That means at least 87% require all the cash. So when are we going to use private money? We're going to use private money. It's real simple. When the seller, well, that's whether it's in the multiple listing service, of course, you always need cash there. If it's a bank owned property, you always need cash. If you're at an auction, you always need cash. Short sales, you need cash. And the majority of those for sale by owners want all the cash. So when the seller requires all the cash, we're going to use private money and always bring home a big check.
Yep. I love it. So the first, you sold me, and I'm sure you sold a lot of people out there. I know the value of private money. I think it's one of the most important things in any investor's tool belt to get traction, to start buying down those properties that they're looking at, because as you said, you're able to close properties a lot quicker. You can be a lot more creative with the structure. So the problem is, and you mentioned this before a little bit earlier, how do you actually get investors to trust you with their money, with their, you approach someone, you said you haven't sold any properties to anybody. The way that I've traditionally done it is I take my OM, my offering memorandum, I take it to them, I show my pro forma, all my pretty numbers, and I say, hey, this is what I do, this is what I see the projection being for this property. This is how much I need to raise, and then let them make the decision. So how do you go out and find investors to invest in your properties?
Sure. So first of all, there's three categories of private lenders primarily. The first category of private lenders are people in your own warm market, people that you have some kind of relationship with, people in your cell phone,
mom,
people
dad,
on your
friend.
your email list, your Facebook friends, any kind of social network, people you go to church with, people that you go to the Rotary Club with, people in the Chamber of Commerce, So that's the first category. And so I can invite them to a Zoom, right? Don't you wish you'd bought some stock in Zoom 2 years ago? I can invite them to a Zoom, and I can have an educational training session, or I can go to lunch with somebody and, teach them one-on-one about it, that type of thing. The second category of finding these private lenders is what I call your expanded warm market. And the reason I teach that is I have a lot of people sometimes say, Jay, all my people are broke. I don't know anybody that's got money. Well, first of all, I don't believe them. Secondly, I think what they're really saying is I'm intimidated. I'm intimidated to ask for money. Well, right there's the first problem. The first thing to learn about private money is you're not asking for money. It's all about the mindset. I'm serving people by teaching them a way to make a lot of money safely and securely in ways they never heard about. Another category of private lenders are what we call existing private lenders. Private lenders that are already loaning money out to real estate investors. And I'm not talking institutions. I'm not talking hard money lenders. I'm talking about individuals just like you and me. Where do you find these people? Well, they're on public record. My students get access to my private lender data feed that we update every month, and we get all the private lending closings in the nation. But in addition to that, a great place to find existing private lenders are at self-directed IRA networking groups and networking events. And 70%, approximately 70% of people that have a self-directed IRA account are looking to loan it out and invest it in real estate. So there they are looking for you.
There you go.
Those people are looking to, to loan you money. So back to your question, how do I get people to loan me money and invest in my deals without pitching a deal? Here's the secret. First of all, we teach the program first. One big mistake, never teach your program what you're offering people, and you've got a deal at the same time to talk about. Two big reasons not to do that. Number one, you're asking them to make too many decisions. Do I like the program? Do I like that deal? Now I'm all confused, and a confused mind does nothing. So we just teach the program first. Secondly, if you're talking about a deal and your program in the initial conversation, you already sound desperate. I mean, without you even saying it. I mean, here's the program, here's a deal I need funding. And it's like they're hearing, please fund my deal, please fund my deal. No. Teach the program. They love it. I mean, at the end of the 20-minute, download my PowerPoint. If you can read, you can use it. Teach the program. At the end of the explanation as to how it works, I just shut up. And pretty much they say, well, this is how much I got. How do I get started? Do I write you a check? No, they don't write me a check. They're going to be wiring their funds to the real estate attorney's trust account or your closing agent, whoever's closing your deals. So just teach the program first. Now I come back with a deal. Here's how I do not pitch the deal. First of all, if I ask them if they want to fund this deal, that's the most stupid question I could ever ask in my life. Of course they want to fund the deal. They've been waiting for me to come back and show them how they can put their money to work. Here's exactly how the conversation goes. I call them up on the phone. We actually still have landlines in North Carolina.
So I say that's an old looking phone there. I love it.
I call them up on the phone and I tell them four things. I call them up, and this is with a brand new private lender that's already told me how much they've got to work with. I know if it's in a retirement account, I know if it's liquid. And so, Gabe, let's say you are my private lender. I call up guys, say, hey, Gabe, this is Jay. How's the day going? You say, fantastic. We have a little chit chat. And here's what I would tell you, Gabe. I'd say, Gabe, I've got fantastic news for you. I can now put your money to work for you. I've got a home over in Newport with the after repaired value of $200,000. The funding required for the deal is only $150,000. The closing date is next Thursday. And so you'll need to wire your funds to my closing agent by next Wednesday for the closing. End of conversation. Now let's boil down what I did. I told you I got great news. I told you where the home was located. I didn't tell you the address because you could care less, but I told you the community the home's located in. I told you the after repaired value. I didn't tell you the purchase price because you could care less. I'm not going to borrow typically more than 75% of the after repaired value, not 75% of the purchase price, 75% of the after repaired value. So for these numbers to work, I've got to be buying at a discounted price. So I told you where the home's located. I told you the after repaired value. I'm telling you the funding that's required for the deal and the date we're going to close for you to wire your funds. End of conversation. So you see, you already know the program. I already taught you the program, and I'm not going to bring you a deal to fund that doesn't meet the criteria of the program. So we fund the deal. And then guess what, Gabe? On the next conversation and all the subsequent conversations, they only want to know two things: how much and when. They could care less the community, right? How much do you need and when do you need it wired? So obviously you've created this relationship. Trust plays a big part into it. But when I have a new real estate investor ask me this question, here's the answer. Jay, who in the world is going to loan me money? And I've never done a real estate deal.
That was going to be my
Here's
next
the
question.
answer. Here's the answer. If I don't pay you, the property does.
Yep.
Because they're getting the security, they're getting the collateral. And if they get the house or the property, and by the way, if you're doing commercial deals like Gabe, if you're doing self-storage and all that, it's all the same money.
Yep.
It's all the same money. You just structure the deal differently, right? And so there's the answer. If I don't pay you, the property does. You get the property if I don't pay you, and you're going to make more money with the property than the interest I'd be paying you.
Yep. And I love that you kind of touched on mindset there, because, you know, I've been on the other side of the table trying to, you know, approaching investors with deals, just thinking, being all nervous, just not having a lot of confidence because, you know, I hadn't done it before. But when you have the mindset, when you understand that you're actually presenting a good opportunity for them to make a lot of money, that really helps. Personally, I feel like that really helps the conversation flow a lot easier. So if I can kind of sum up what you've said, you start with education. You don't ask people, you know, to put money into your deals. You just educate them. You say, hey, this is what private money is. This is how it's secured. This is how you can invest in it. And then once a deal comes along, you really do approach it with a positive mindset, like, hey, this is an opportunity for you to get your money into these deals. And here's what it is. This is how much we need. This is the date we need it. I really love that. Super simple. You know, if I were on the other side, I'd say, where can I sign up? But I did check the clock. It looks like we have gone through our time. So Jay, I have to push us on to the quick question round. I do appreciate everything you shared, and I know you have something to share with our guests at the end. We'll get to that in 5 minutes here, but right now we're going to jump into the quick question round. So are you ready?
I don't know.
Oh, you're always ready.
I don't know what the questions are. Now I'm starting to get nervous.
All right. It starts with education, which is something that, you know, you are a master at here. Give me 2 recommendations. It doesn't have to be books. It could be whatever you want, podcasts, YouTube channels, anything. 2 recommendations, 1 for general life wisdom and 1 for real estate specific.
So I'm going to share a book that made more of an impact other than the Bible. I'm going to share a book that made more of an impact on my mindset and the way I view the world, that changed my life when I was 24 years old. And it's still in print. The name of the book is University of Success. University of Success. It's written by Og Mandino. Og Mandino. And have you ever heard of the book, Gabe?
I've heard of Og Mandino. I hadn't heard of that title, but I've heard of the author.
Yeah, and it's been updated. And the reason it's called the University of Success is because the book is actually broken down into semesters, like a college, and then you have lessons. Well, all these lessons are contributed by very, very famous, successful people. And so, you know, if you view yourself as a victim and not a victor, and if you view yourself as not being able to create your own destiny, and if you view yourself as having scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset, then for sure, get the book University of Success. You can get it on Amazon. The other book, everything I do, Gabe, in real estate, doesn't matter what it is in my life, I come from the space of having a servant's heart. I'm only interested in doing business and having relationships when it's always a win-win scenario for both sides. And so the other book that I'm going to recommend is called The Go-Giver. I'm sure you've heard of this.
Heard of that one. Yep.
Yeah, Go-Giver. There's actually 4 books in that series now. Start with the first one that's red. It's thin. It's written in the form of a parable. But that book, if you are interested in being a servant, making a difference, and giving back, be sure and read The Go-Giver.
The Go-Giver. I like it. Great recommendation. And the other one was The University of Success by Og Mandino. Good recommendations, and I will have to check those out. And that moves us on to the next question. And this one is for your younger self. So if you could go to the Jay who had no experience in real estate, he was just getting into maybe looking into those first flips, Go to him, look him in the eye, give him one piece of advice moving forward.
Do not start this business by yourself without getting proper education. The first 6 years, all I did was read books. I didn't go to any seminars. I didn't get a mentor. I didn't get a coach. I didn't join hips with somebody that had already done this thing. And boy, if I didn't make some very, very expensive mistakes. In fact, in those first 6 years, I went to some seminars that I did not plan on going to, if you know what I mean. And I don't mean seminars in the conventional sense. I mean the big mistakes that I made. So be sure and also go ahead and get involved with people that are like-minded around you. Get involved and serve and contribute at your local real estate investing association or your local meetup group with like-minded people. But don't listen to advice from newbies that's never done a deal.
Yep.
Listen to people that have done the business and they know what they're talking about.
I think that is great advice. And I hope you don't mind, I'm going to add a little piece to that. You need to get your education. Where I got stuck was I just kind of got stuck in the wheel of education. If you find yourself there, you need to take action. So little balance there. Take action if you have the education. If you don't, push the brakes, get a little bit of education in there. And that moves us on to the next question. And this one is, I lost my place there. There it is. All right. Habits are the foundation of our life. So if you could point to one thing you do day in and day out, you feel contributes the most to your overall health, well-being, and happiness, what would that be?
So it starts out first thing in the morning. So I actually have one of the original Stairmasters.
Nice.
It's like a real Stairmaster. And you don't have a Stairmaster. You just want to get the blood flowing first thing in the morning. That can be a walk. That can be a 1 mile walk. And so start your day out by yourself. Start your day out by yourself. I get some of my best creative ideas when I'm by myself on the Stairmaster for 22 minutes. The blood is flowing. I'm on top of my game all day. Or if I just go take a walk for a mile, that gets my blood flowing, my thinking. I have creativity, going on. But I know you just asked me for one, but I really want to give you one more, if you will allow me, Gabe.
Let's hear
that
it.
really, really is the most important habit that I do.
Okay.
It's called the Rule of Five. The Rule of Five. I learned it from Jack Canfield in his book, The Principles of Success. And here's the way the Rule of Five works. At the end of your day, before you go home or before you stop your work day, you identify 5 things that you will do tomorrow, and you put them on your calendar. 5 things that you'll do tomorrow that will have the biggest impact on moving your business forward, right? Yep. Don't wake up in the morning, trying to run this business, shooting it from the hip.
Yep.
Yeah. The Rule of Five, identify what are those 5 things. One of my mantras is successes are scheduled. I don't have a to-do list. If I got something to do, it's blocked in, it's scheduled on the calendar. Identify those most impactful 5 things before the next day, and it will unbelievably transform your business.
I love that advice, and I couldn't agree more. I'm closing on a deal right now. And so I've slid back into the place where I'm just waking up and just shooting from the hip, getting things done. But, hearing that, it reminds me, I got to get back to the place where, I schedule things the day before I wake up. I don't get right into my computer. And that is great advice. So I'm going to take it to heart myself once, hopefully this deal will close soon and I can get back to the norm. But that moves us to the next question. This is for the United States. It's a big place, lots of places to invest your money, which means there's a lot of opportunity out there. So what is the metro, besides your backyard, besides the city that you live in? What is the metro you are most excited about?
So I'm going to answer that generally. Okay. I don't want to invest where it's a big metro area where there's a ton of real estate investors. One of the secrets to our success here is I'm the only consistent guy in town. right? I don't have hardly any competition. So I say, if you're in a metro area, large city, go out to a neighboring county. All right. Go out to a neighboring county where, first of all, homes are much more affordable, particularly for your first time buyers, if they're like outside all the rustle and bustle. Now, I still want to be able to drive by my properties within 30 minutes to an hour if possible. I don't want them to be further away than that, but just go outside the metro area, neighboring counties where prices are much more affordable. In fact, I say have your main business at first time home buyer price points. Why? Because that's where your largest pool of buyers are, are those. So yeah, don't be in the middle of a million people. Go just outside to a neighboring county.
And I know you're talking about residential right there, but honestly, my best deals on the commercial side have come from the outskirts of major metros. Just outside of Dallas Fort Worth, just outside of Hot Springs, areas that are a little bit on the outskirts of the city is where I've found the best deals, and that's just how it works. So it doesn't matter if you're commercial or residential. I feel like that is really good advice. And that moves us on to the second to last question, and this one is for yourself. We are all gifted with specific strengths that we give to the world, and you are no exception. So what is your Superman strength? What are you particularly good at?
So I live by a mantra called "It's impossible for you to fail unless you choose to quit." So when I was cut off from the banks back in 2009, I had a choice. I could quit or I could look for a better way. So my strength is looking at a difficulty, being in the midst of a difficulty, being in the midst of a challenge, and realizing there's a huge opportunity here. There's a huge opportunity in the midst of this pain. And my superpower is turning a challenge and a difficulty into an opportunity that when I get to the other side, life and business is actually even better than it was before. That's what happened to me with private money. When I was cut off, I could have quit, or I could stay persistent, moving forward, not quitting, and looking for a better way.
I feel like that is it's a common theme on the people that I speak with on this podcast. Anybody who's in real estate is, once they hit those roadblocks, once shit hits the fan, they just keep going. They find the next solution, and I feel like that is a common trait, and so something that's very useful in this industry for sure. And that leads us to the last question. I know you mentioned earlier that you have something you might want to share with the guests. So I know there's a lot of people out there who might want to get involved in private money. What is the best way that they can get in contact with you and learn more?
Absolutely. Thank you, Gabe. So this is hot off the press. Hot off the press. This is a free download guide, money guide. It's titled 7 Reasons Why Private Money Will Explode Your Real Estate Investing Business and Help You Build Incredible Wealth. This will get you on the fast track to private money. If you've never gotten private money, this will get you started right away. If you're a seasoned real estate investor and you just want to scale your business, this will help you get more funding very, very quickly. And here's how you get it. You simply go to www.jayconner, and I'm with an ER, not an OR. So I am JayConner.com/money guide. Again, that's Jayconner, JayConner.com/money guide, and you'll get it immediately. And you, following my instructions, will never have to worry about missing out on a deal because you didn't have the funding.
Sold, Jay. I love it. Well, that wraps it up. I really appreciate it. If anybody wants to get that the PDF that Jay just mentioned, I will put the URL in the show notes. All you got to do is click a little more in the description. It'll pull down the full description in there. You can find the URL, click through, download that, and start looking into private money. So Jay, again, thank you very much for hopping on the show. It's been a pleasure, and I hope we cross paths again in the future.
Same here. In fact, Gabe, I'm getting you booked to be on my podcast, which is Jay Conner, the Private Money Academy podcast. So we'll have you on and continue the conversation. Gabe, thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. For everybody who's here with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if y'all have any questions whatsoever, as always, reach out to me, Gabe at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed putting it on, and we're able to pull some actionable advice that you can apply in your own investing today in the field. Before you go, we have a gift for you. If you're a new investor looking to get started or an established investor looking to invest, take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you, available on our website. This ebook will cover how I was able to create both active and passive income in real estate with very little money to start with. In it, I will address the 3 most often cited obstacles new and veteran investors run into by showing you how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance a deal with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. And if you get the ebook today, I am throwing in a bundle of bonuses, 7 of them to be exact. The first one will be the off-market lead generation blueprint, which will take you through the exact systems and processes we use to generate off-market leads like clockwork, which is the most important skill when it comes to creating wealth in real estate. The second bonus is the A to Z REI systems and vendors guide, which will allow you to peek under the hood of our business and see the exact tools, systems, and even the vendors we use to see the success that we do. And the third bonus is the top 100 best performing keywords pack, which will give you the exact keywords we use to target motivated sellers online using PPC ads. The fourth bonus is our contracts bundle for wholesaling and renting real estate, which will give you access to all the contracts we use in the field to execute all different types of transactions. After that is the Investors Quick Analysis Calculator and Offer Tool, which will allow you to quickly calculate whether a deal is an actual deal and will allow you to create an offer automatically from those calculations. This is a lot of bonuses that I said. I'm just going to keep going down the list. Number 6 is the Investors Daily Success Tracker, which is a tracker you can use to ensure you are taking the right actions day in and day out to reach your financial goals in real estate. And the last bonus is the Wholesalers Template for Quick Assignment Cash, which will give you the templates we use to present our wholesale deals professionally and efficiently to our buyers. Whew, that is a bundle. So it's a mouthful. You get all of those bonuses for free when you download the ebook. All we charge is the admin cost to run the show. So if you're interested in the ebook and the bonus bundle, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Click on Get the ebook bundle at the top of the page to take advantage of that deal. And with that said, I hope you have a fantastic day, an even better week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.